Hi, everyone. It's Rebecca Imholtz with the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you to our monthly luncheon here in September. Right now, outside my window, I see some sunshine. So I hope you have some sunshine where you are today and where you're joining us. I want to welcome you, those of you who are joining us live, and those of you who will be joining us on a recording that will be posted later today on our YouTube channel and our website. And right now, I want to welcome Shane Griffin, President of the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. Nice to see you, Shane.
Hey, Rebecca, always good to see you. Thank you very much for your assistance in helping us put together our virtual luncheon here in September. We've got some great content scheduled for today, so thanks, Rebecca, again for all your efforts. At this time, I'll bring on Mr. John Carroll, who will lead us in the invocation and the pledge. Hey, John.
Shane, thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather here today, Lord, in times of tumult and division. Lord, we keep our eyes on you, knowing that all of these things shall pass in a way that we come out of this stronger. And Lord, we give you thanks for that opportunity. We raise up those who couldn't join us one way or another today, because of difficulties and challenges in their lives. We ask you to bless those who are gathered here live and those who are attending via the recording, that you will bless them and prosper them in their work, in their personal lives, and in this community where we live, work, play, and worship. We ask that you would bless these proceedings and that we would come away stronger and better as a result of those. And we make all these prayers in your most precious name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. Always great to see you, and you'll be introducing our featured speaker in just a few moments, Dr. J. Goosby Smith. So thank you for your time and talents and your service to the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. We thank you very much for being here today, either live or recording. Before we get started, we want to remember someone very special to our community. Mount Pleasant and the shrimping industry lost a great man last Friday. Captain Wayne Magwood was an iconic character known on Shem Creek and the waterways of the Low Country. Captain Wayne and his beloved boat, the Winds of Fortune, symbolize the South Carolina coast and all that makes it special and unique. Among his many recognitions during his career was the Order of the Palmetto from Governor Mark Sanford in April of 2011, which is the state's highest civilian honor awarded to citizens of South Carolina for extraordinary lifetime service and achievements of national or statewide significance. Captain Wayne devoted his time and talent to preserving the shrimping tradition and its presence on Shem Creek. He was 67 years old. If you'll now please join me and the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors in a moment of silence for Captain Wayne Magwood. Thank you. Captain Magwood will be missed dearly in this community, a great man, and we are so sorry to hear of the loss of Captain Magwood. Moving along with our announcements today, we would like to let you know that we are in talks to begin in-person events with the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. So the Board of Directors has been discussing this topic for probably 3 months or so about when is the right time to institute in-person events. So it looks like, and again, we're still hashing out the details, but it looks like we may start with a small in-person event sometime in late October, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. So please know that we are working to get us back together to network, but also to do it in a very safe way. Your safety is our #1 priority, but we do understand the importance of being together and networking and the importance of connecting person to person and seeing each other's faces once again. So that is a topic of conversation with the board of directors. More information on that to come, but it could be either a coffee or an after hours, a small gathering outdoors, more than likely sometime near the end of October. We'll see how that goes. Pardon me. And then once that is completed, then we'll make further decisions on what the rest of the year and into early 2021 do look like. But wanted to at least express that to you. Also, just want to let you know that we still remain on a very strong financial footing. The board of directors has made some very critical decisions over the past few years, and we are sitting in a very good spot despite what has happened here to us in this community, in this country, in this world. We've actually added close to 40 new members since the beginning of COVID-19. So we still remain on a very solid financial footing. And again, that is because of the good decisions that our board of directors has made over the past few years, and also to the leadership from Chris Dobbs over the past 3.5 years. We, of course, owe him a debt of gratitude as well. I don't want to take away the thunder from Michael Cochran, but the expo starts Monday, 9/21, 10 days of expo to celebrate 10 years. All you got to do is visit mountpleasantexpo.com to register. This is going to be a dynamic, engaging virtual expo. I won't say much more than that because I know Michael has a lot of good information to express to us today. But please visit mountpleasantexpo.com and get registered, because we will go live with the virtual expo coming up on Monday, September 21st. We've got a lot of marketing behind it. This is really going to be a time for us to shine as an organization, and I'm really looking forward to what Michael Cochran and his committee, and also our good friend Ben Toy at On Purpose Adventures has in store for the virtual expo. That starts on Monday, mountpleasantexpo.com. A reminder about our Coronavirus Resource Center page. We still have that posted at the website, mountpleasantchamber.org. You have the tab there at the top of the page. Just click that. You'll be redirected to the page. There is all kinds of information there for you, not only about COVID-19, but also how it is impacting our community. We've got a number of webinars. We've got job postings on the website as well. So a lot of information for you to take in when it comes to the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce and how we're dealing with the COVID-19 situation. Just visit mountpleasantchamber.org. Click at the top of the page, the Coronavirus Resource Center page. It is being updated on a regular basis. And we thank our partners over at Stingray Branding and Net Galaxy, Kim Swanger and Alan Thompson, doing a great job for us over there. And also a thanks behind the scenes to Tamara Cornwall, our administrative assistant, Rebecca Imholtz, our director of development, and Amanda Bunting-Coman from Social ABCs, our social media director. They're all doing a great job behind the scenes to make sure that you have the content that you need. I'd like at this time to recognize my board. My name, of course, is Shane Griffin. I'm with News Radio 94.3 WSC. I'm the president of the organization. Our president-elect, he will take over on Jan 1 of 2021, and we are really excited about the direction that Eddie Phipps is going to take us. Eddie Phipps is our president-elect. Our vice president is Jennifer Maxwell. Our president emeritus is Chris Dobbs. The secretary is Kathy Herman. Our treasurer is Joe Hinsky. And then we have two at-large board members, Mr. John Carroll and Brian Sherman. John and Brian, two of the longest serving members of the organization, and we thank them for their time and their talents with the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. Our committee chairs working feverishly as we wrap up the end of the year. Philanthropy is Mariana Lewis and Nikki Burnett. Membership, of course, is Ben Knight and Sarah Wiggins. Expo is Michael Cochran. Programs, Vicki Boyd and Alex Shee. Marketing is Mike Compton. Our general counsel is Eddie Phipps. That is our board of directors, and I applaud them for their work. Again, all volunteer. They do this because they love the organization. They have a passion for the organization. We thank them very much for all that they do for the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. I, again, also want to recognize our Director of Development, Rebecca Imholtz. A lot of the stuff you see happening technology-wise and behind the scenes, Rebecca has her hand in that, and we thank her very much for all that she does. Also, a thanks to Tamara Cornwall, our administrative assistant. I've already mentioned Kim and Alan over at Net Galaxy and Stingray Branding. And also a thanks to Amanda Bunting-Coleman over at Social ABCs. She handles all of our social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. She handles all that, and we thank her very much for that. All right, moving along, Rebecca, we'd like to recognize our sponsors at this time. If you could flash up those beautiful logos for us. Our platinum sponsors and our gold sponsors, we could not do this, of course, without the sponsors, and we thank them very much for their support. You see our municipal sponsor, the town of Mount Pleasant, our platinum sponsors there, and also the next slide is all of our gold sponsors. So if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, you can reach out to Rebecca at mountpleasantchamber.org. That is Rebecca at mountpleasantchamber.org, and she will be happy to walk you through many of the advantages of being a platinum and or a gold sponsor. That is all I have on my opening remarks today. At this time, I would like to bring on from the town of Mount Pleasant, Ms. Lauren Sims, for an update from the town of Mount Pleasant. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Shane. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a few updates from the town of Mount Pleasant. In case you haven't heard, town council passed a temporary ordinance. It's a mask ordinance requiring masks in certain circumstances in the town. That is, a mask is required unless otherwise exempted in town-owned facilities, grocery stores, and pharmacies. It's the same exact ordinance that was in place under an emergency ordinance a few months ago. So it's the same language, but if you want a refresher, the language is available on our website at tonpsc.com. It is a reminder that September is Business Appreciation Month in the town of Mount Pleasant. So unfortunately this year, we won't be able to meet with everyone face to face, but we do have a rather extensive social media campaign ongoing. And we encourage you to participate in that and to recognize your business, your employees, and all the great work that you all are doing in our community. We thank you very much for everything that you've done and for the innovation that you've all shown throughout this entire COVID response. Lastly, just to save the date for October 14th, we're very excited to be hosting an event in partnership with the Chamber about doing business with the town. I understand from a survey that this was a topic that a lot of folks wanted to know more about. So we've got some staff members from our business license office and finance office that will be talking about doing business in the town, both if you're an existing or a new business, how to do business with the town if you'd like to join our local vendor partnership program, our Town Proud program, have ribbon cutting, any of our programs that are available to businesses, as well as some information about our town budget and particularly how it's going to be impacted or how we anticipate the impact of COVID-19 on our annual operating budget. So encourage you all to put that on your calendar, and the sign up link will be going out in just a little while. We look forward to meeting with you all at that time. It'll be a lunchtime virtual event, so bring your round lunch and listen in. And lastly, we're very excited to be a sponsor of the virtual expo, and I encourage you all to stop by our virtual booth in the next 10 days and chat with us and learn more about our programs and answer any or ask any questions that you have of us. That's all I've got, Shane, so I'll turn it back over to you.
Lauren, thank you very much for that very succinct report. We are grateful to the town of Mount Pleasant for the partnership, and thanks for all you do, and thanks for being a part of our meeting today. At this time, I will bring on our president-elect, Mr. Eddie Fitch, to take us through the committees. Hey, Eddie.
Good morning, Shane. Thank you. Welcome everybody to our virtual lunch. I'd like to introduce the illustrious Michael Cochran. He is going to update us on the EXPO, and we thank him and appreciate all his work. Michael, you there?
Hey, Eddie, thank you so much, and good afternoon to you and to everybody who's attended. We're very excited to have our 10th anniversary Mount Pleasant Business and Community Expo. This year, due to the pandemic and challenges that we've all faced, we've decided to do a virtual event. And instead of one day, it will be a 10-day event from September the 21st through the 30th. So Shane, thank you for that great introduction earlier about that. It'll be a fantastic event for 10 days starting next Monday. Some reasons to attend: there are going to be thousands of dollars in prizes and special offers provided by our booth sponsors and vendors. You can use the app to attend from any phone or tablet. You cannot use it from a laptop or a desktop computer, so it has to be on a smart device. You can attend in small time increments with a limited time investment. So we're going to give you the ultimate flexibility to attend the event. You can visit booths as often and for as long as you would like. And then there's going to be no pressure, no rush conversations, no waiting in lines. and there's going to be plenty of information that you can get from those vendors and have a great experience. It's going to be interactive. We just want to give a big shout out and a huge thank you to our presenting sponsor, Cruise Subaru of Charleston. They have done an amazing job. They came to us and said, we will be our sponsor, and they've stayed with us from the very beginning. But I just want to say thank you, and Eddie, I will turn it back over to you, sir.
Michael, thank you very much. I'm very excited. It seems that y'all have really tapped into the cutting edge of this virtual meetings, and really excited for the expo. It should be very exciting. Next, I would like to introduce Ben Knight. Ben is the community chair for the membership. Ben, are you there? I see you. Hey, Ben.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you? You ready to give us
I'm
an
doing
update on the
great,
membership?
thank you. Yes, thank you. Again, Ben Knight with Viking Mergers and Acquisitions. We help business owners successfully sell their business in a confidential and professional manner. I'd also like to recognize the co-chair of our committee, Sarah Wiggins of Tony Pope State Farm. And I'm really excited to announce that since our last meeting, we've added 7 new members to the Mount Pleasant Chamber. So let me start with the members, and please join me in welcoming them. First is Carolina Park Family Dentistry. Carolina Park Family Dentistry is a new locally owned and operated dental office providing family and cosmetic dentistry in a setting centered around honest and compassionate care. The building, which is currently under construction and located directly across from Costco, has an anticipated opening date in December. Next is Dental Care at Winnowing Way. Dental Care at Winnowing Way, a hometown dental practice located in Mount Pleasant, specializing in comprehensive dentistry for the entire family. The practice places a premium on excellent service, quality care, and patient convenience. Next up is Henderson & Henderson LLC, Attorneys at Law. Henderson & Henderson is a business law firm focusing on the needs of entrepreneurs, businesses, and the men and women who operate them. Their focus is business law and family law because they believe local businesses provide unique character, exceptional services, and innovative products. Our next new member is Holy City Arts and Lyric Opera. Holy City Arts and Lyric Opera's mission is to present opera and musical theater to the Low Country through compelling productions and arts education. They believe that together we can all reclaim Charleston's legacy as the birthplace of opera in North America. Next up is Cumin of Mount Pleasant, Laurel Hill. For more than 60 years, Cumin's after-school academic enrichment program has helped children achieve success worldwide. Whether your child is seeking enrichment, needs catching up, or is just beginning his or her academic career, Cumin is designed to help him or her develop a love of learning. Next up is another one we're really excited to welcome is Naturally Radiant Beauty by Frederica. Naturally Radiant Beauty by Frederica is a day spa that utilizes organic and plant-based products to treat your skin. It was established in 2020 by Frederica Lawton, a highly reputable esthetician with 17 years of experience in skincare. At the day spa, which is located in the historic Commons Courtyard area of Shem Creek, you'll receive the highest level of benefits such as the replenishment of vital antioxidants and vitamins, skin correction and balancing, brightening and anti-aging benefits without the added contamination from herbicides and pesticides. Next up is Red Falcon Inc. Red Falcon Inc. is a locally owned and operated full-service graphic design and printing company that provides expert digital printing services in the Charleston area to industries across the board. They have a wide range of equipment that allows them to provide high-quality service with a quick turnaround time for print jobs, both big and small. Next slide. In a business spotlight, your local Lowe's in Mount Pleasant is your true one-stop shop for home improvement. We're always community first, and that's why we truly enjoy helping people love where they live. So congratulations, Lowe's. For our nonprofit spotlight, it's Wynwood Family Services. Each day, the staff at Wynwood Family Services wakes up with one goal: to end child abuse and neglect in our community. Over the past year, our farm in Allendale has served over 50 boys, providing structured therapy and focus. In our clinic in Mount Pleasant, we have the opportunity to provide behavioral health services to over 250 patients. In our community-based prevention service, we have provided direct care service to over 500 families throughout the Charleston and Dorchester counties. If interested in volunteering, please contact winwoodfarm.org. Again, winwoodfarm.org. And last for me and the membership committee is our... There we go. We're off to the races, and we're having a great start. As Shane said, that we've added 40 members. I wish it was 400. 40 members since the start of the pandemic. We're on our way to 500. So if you know of someone whose business could benefit from a membership in the Mount Pleasant Chamber, please have them join. There are opportunities for members who bring on new members to win gift cards, and also for the new members to win gift cards. So we're on our way on the race to 500. New members between March 1st and the end of November this year are in for the contest. So Eddie, back to you.
Ben, thank you for that update. Got a question for you.
Sure.
Are we running the race?
Absolutely, we're running the race. We're
That's
lapping
good.
people right now.
We're lapping people. We're not coming in last. We're not the underdog.
Absolutely not. We got. Hey, listen to those engines purr. They're doing great.
That's great. Fantastic. Listen, I'm very excited about that. Thank you for all your work that you do, you and Sarah both. Really appreciate it. And I would like to thank all the new members and welcome them to the chamber. They're going to be very excited. Hopefully we'll be able to serve their needs. Thank you again. Next, I would like to introduce the illustrious and wonderful Rebecca M. Holtz. She's going to give us an update on the strategic partnership. How you doing, Rebecca?
Good, Eddie. Thank you so much for that very kind introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So with strategic partnerships, we have had a lot going on, a lot of great webinars that you, our members, have asked for. So we appreciate our Mondays with the mayor. Thanks to Mayor Haney and Lauren Sims that you heard from earlier. That has been a very popular weekly update with the mayor and Lauren and local officials on what's going on in the town of Mount Pleasant. And also that has become extremely popular is our pivot, living and working during COVID-19. That's moderated by John Carroll, who is on our executive board with the chamber. This past month, we talked about back to school, parent and student stress with Life Resources, a member of the chamber. We also had a conversation with some print media chamber members, local to in Charleston, as well as all about seniors and Stripe Rock Publishing. We had a very informative, thought-provoking conversation with East Cooper Community Outreach and the D. Norton Child Advocacy Center and what they're doing to support our families and community during this unprecedented pandemic. The CEO of East Cooper Medical Center, Patrick Downs, joined us for a very informative conversation about managing a hospital system and taking care of patients during COVID-19. And our own Joe Hinsky, who is the treasurer of the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce, he had a very thought-provoking webinar on tax strategies and understanding the recent payroll tax holiday. And of course, we have been talking about the ultimate pivot, I think, right now for the Mount Pleasant Chamber, which is the EXPO pivot. So thanks again for Michael Cochran and his committee and doing such an excellent job on that pivot. Really, really looking forward to that 10-day expo starting on Monday. As Lauren mentioned earlier on today, we have on October 14th a great time for you to get information from our town about doing business with the town of Mount Pleasant. So again, that's a lunchtime event and we'll be sending out that registration soon. For those of you who were able, we had a lot of fun networking this past month, including our September after hours with Forte Jazz Lounge. Joe Clark is the owner of that. He's a member of the Mount Pleasant Chamber. It was really entertaining, a lot of fun. We had a fun trivia game following. Congratulations to Cynthia Lett of the Lett Group. She won 2 tickets to an upcoming performance with Forte Jazz Lounge. Thank you again, Joe Clark and the Joe Clark Trio, Forte Jazz Lounge, for being such a gracious host. And then another virtual networking event coming up is our Before 9 on September 29th. So I encourage you to check those out. It's a great chance to meet some new members, some prospective members, some current members, and really have some very quality networking time, albeit virtually at the moment. Thank you, Eddie.
Rebecca, thank you for that update. Appreciate it. Next, we are going to have Mike Compton. Mike, you there?
Here I am.
Good morning, good afternoon. I'm gonna go off script for a second and ask you just a real quick question with your marketing expertise. Could you share with our viewers and our membership, what would be your #1 suggestion for success in marketing? What is that one element that we need to be focused on as we're going forward? And I know things have kind of changed because everything's Zoom and the pandemic. What would be your one suggestion to do to increase your marketing value?
Consistency. Keep consistent with your message. Keep out there. Keep doing those social media posts. Keep sharing thought-provoking, idea-starting information to your followers, and just be consistent about it.
Great. Thank you for that's an invaluable message, and I appreciate it. Anyhow, sorry, I didn't mean to go off script, but I just wanted to pick your brain, and I figured it's very helpful for everybody. We're all sitting in the same boat, trying to figure out what's the best method to increase our volume. Thank you. I'll go off and give us an update.
Yeah, sure. So just a quick marketing committee update here. Special thanks to the committee members that we have. So yeah, you see a lot going on with the Expo. We've got a really great dynamic campaign going on, from print to TV to OTT to, well, not so much OTT, but that would be nice, to social. We've done sponsor videos. We've done all sorts of really cool stuff. And I'm excited to hear the radio spots that are going to be aired starting next week as well, thanks to Shane and iHeartMedia. Please do share our social media, and even if they're not as thought-provoking as you'd like them to be, there are communication, and it's going to be great for your followers to hear and see that you're a part of something bigger than yourself with the Mount Pleasant Chamber. The Race to 500, share that as well. Chance to win money. Can't go wrong there. You should see our social media as well. Share and engage with all those testimonial videos that we have, and even the graphic testimonials that we have. We're having a great time marketing this. So and then just special thanks to Bruce, our creative director of our brand focus, Vicki Boyd of the Moultrie News, and of course another shout out to Amanda Bunton Coleman of ABC Social. She's fantastic, and everybody's just working hard trying to make these events and the Mount Pleasant Chambers as best as possible. So that's pretty much it. If you want to go to the next slide, we've got all of that is working right now, and this is the proof in the pudding here. What you see in the percent line there is the followers that we're gaining. We're gaining 30% each month. It's raising. It's going in the right direction. Everybody's ticking in the right direction. So thank you for all of you done so far, but don't stop sharing. Don't stop engaging. And we'll get to 500. We'll win that race. Eddie, back to you.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. If you don't mind, I would like to, that consistency, that word, I don't know, obviously you'll help us out in the backside, the back doors, in regards to, I think that we should use that on some social media and plagiarize that, if you don't mind, and kind of blast that out of there so that, we can market, help people market that and use that in their own marketing strategies.
Eddie, I like that idea. And what we'll do is we'll take it back to the marketing committee and say, hey, what are some marketing tips that we can include in our social media posts for our members?
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, great idea.
Thank you for all your work. We're winning 500, the race, and appreciate all your work. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks.
So now we are going to turn it back to John Carroll so he can introduce our speaker. John, are you there?
I am, Eddie. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Before you start, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we could get questions for Dr. Smith. If anybody has any questions, there's the ability, I don't know how to do this on this Zoom thing, but those out there in the Zoom world that are smarter than me, I guess there is a chat or a area to leave questions and answers. John, maybe you could share that with them a little better than I could, more eloquently, of course. And thank you for your help, your selfishness, because you were such a great person, and all the volunteer work that you did. I put enough into this yet?
Thanks, Eddie. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome.
Yeah,
man.
I can be selfish with the best of them. So thank you. And I do want to clarify, Rebecca will be monitoring the chat and the Q&A functions. So as you have questions for our featured speaker today, please feel free to take advantage of those, and we'll have some time set aside at the end of the presentation for questions and answers as well. So please be aware of that. It's my pleasure right now to introduce our featured speaker. Dr. J. Goosby Smith is an associate professor of management, associate professor of leadership, assistant provost for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and director of the Truth, Racial Healing and Transformation Center at the Citadel. Dr. Smith holds a PhD and MBA in organizational behavior from Case Western Reserve University's Weatherhead School of Management, and a Bachelor of Science degree in computer science from Spelman College. Her research areas are workplace inclusion, classroom inclusion, diversity and inclusion related veterans issues, cross-racial dialogue, and interfaith unity. Dr. Smith is co-author of Beyond Inclusion, editor of Blessed Are Those Who Ask the Questions, and several academic journal articles. Dr. Smith has also been named Honorary Commander, Naval Information Warfare Center Atlantic for 2019 and 2020. And her community service work is done through her memberships in Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, American Mensa, and Greater St. Luke African Methodist Episcopal Church here in Charleston. It's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. J. Goosby Smith.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, John, and thank you so much to the leadership of the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce for inviting me to talk about a topic that is so near and dear to me. So as I get my slides shared with you, we will go ahead and get started. So I was taking a walk in Mount Pleasant in January of this year, and I came across this sign. And for whatever reason, it was just the most entertaining sign to me. So this is my Mount Pleasant sign for today. So as John mentioned, I do a lot of different things, but one thing they all have in common is that they all have either faith, diversity, or inclusion in common. So that's pretty much the channel that I stay on. For today, I know we've only got a little bit of time, and so I'm going to keep it short because I'd love to dialogue with you about any questions you may have. We've had the greetings. We're going to talk about gardening. Yes, gardening. And then we're going to talk about what is an inclusive marketplace, what are things you can do next, and then I will wrap up. So we're going to just jump in and talk about gardening. I learned a term as honorary commander, and it's BLUF, which is bottom line up front. So bottom line up front, my proposition to you is that it's really tough to achieve a vision that you can't articulate. So hopefully today you'll walk away with some good vocabulary to help you talk more thoughtfully about diversity, inclusion, equity, and equality. And more importantly, you'll have some things that you can do tomorrow with respect to your business. So I want you to think of Mount Pleasant and think of your business as a garden. And you as the leaders of the business, or you as the leaders of the chamber, you all are the gardeners, because you regularly plant different types of vegetation into the garden. And of course, the reason that we plant things is such that they'll bear fruit. whether that fruit is actually something we can eat or a pleasant aroma or some type of protective quality. So I want you to think of your company as a garden. And so sometimes gardens can be very diverse, meaning that you plant lots of different types of foliage into them. But if some of those plants aren't doing too well, your garden isn't inclusive. Because after all, an inclusive garden is one where all of your plants are thriving and bearing fruit. And clearly, while the bushes in the background look like they're doing well, these yellow flowers are struggling. So the garden's not inclusive because everything's not thriving. Here's another picture. This is a not very diverse garden, but it's very inclusive because all of these tulips and hyacinths look extremely healthy. I say not very diverse because some people might say, well, it's not diverse at all. There's no possibility of having a group of human beings together and it not being a diverse group. And so one of the things I want you to take away is that the term inclusive and the term diverse are adjectives that describe a collective. So for example, at the Citadel, we have a diverse faculty. We don't recruit diverse faculty members. So keep that word diverse and the word inclusive to be adjectives to describe a group. You might have a small garden though, where it's not very diverse because it looks like the same genus of flowers on the surface, and it's not very inclusive at all. This is just a small little business where everyone is struggling together. And unfortunately, that may be the case sometime during COVID-19 because this has been a tough time for small business. This, on the other hand, these are some pictures of some gardens that have lots of different types of flowers planted, very diverse, and they all seem to be thriving. It's very inclusive. So I wanted to kind of use just pictures to give you an idea of what we mean when we say diverse and what we mean when we say inclusive. Again, those are two words that describe a collective of people. If you like charts better than pictures for the analytical learners, organizations can be inclusive and they can be diverse and they can be both. And so many times you'll hear people talk about inclusion and diversity and inclusion. You'd think that they're like Abbott and Costello, but they're two completely different concepts. And so hopefully through the pictures, you got an intuitive idea of what we mean. So let's talk about equality. Put on your gardening hat again. And so if you're planting things, you know, you're planting zucchini and carrots and roses and cucumbers and different herbs, if you give every single one of those plants the exact same amount of water, the exact same amount of sun, and the exact same amount of shade, what do you think that's going to happen? If we're in a room, I'd actually ask you what you think, but I can't see you. So some of you who garden say, if you give every single different plant the same amount of sun, shade, and water, some of them are going to thrive and some of them are going to die. And so what this means is that if you're going to be an effective gardener, you have to look at your plants and you can't give every single plant the same thing that it needs, the same thing that the other one's getting. For example, an Easter lily really does not like full sun. I figured that out this summer. So instead of just constantly giving that Easter lily full sun to the point where it will disintegrate, as a gardener, you instinctively choose equity. Equity means to give each one of those plants that you've planted into your garden what it needs to bear fruit. So we can see from this picture that some are planted at the base of that tree. They must like shade. Others, like these yellow flowers in the middle, they're in full sun and they're getting the full sun. Others are in the greenhouse there. They want a little bit of a barrier from the sun, don't like a lot of high wind. And so to be effective in your business, you want to have both equality and equity. Now that might sound paradoxical, but when you're thinking about a business, equality would be everyone pays the same price for this particular item. Equity might be, I have a payment plan for some people if they need it. So some can pay cash, some can charge it, some can go on a payment plan. That would be equity. So hopefully these terms make sense. You're the gardener, you're planting into your business, which is the soil. If you plant a lot of different types of flower, that's diversity. If you have all of them thriving and growing, that's inclusion. If you're giving every single flower the same thing, That's equality. Which, interestingly, for a gardener, if you started giving all your different flowers the same thing and some of them started to die, you wouldn't just say, oh, those are just bad flowers. You'd go back to Lowe's or True Value or Home Depot or wherever your garden centers are, and you'd ask a question: what does this plant need? So I encourage you to think the same thing about the people who work in your business, the businesses you work with, your vendors, suppliers, and most importantly, your customers. So now that we've got diversity, equity, inclusion, and equality together, let's talk a little bit more about what diversity is. This is a beautiful, diverse garden, by the way. So when we look at diversity, we can think about dimensions of diversity. These are different aspects about ourselves that if you all had this piece of paper, you could write different things into these blocks. So for personality, at our core, all of us have similarities and differences. Some of you are night people. Some of you are morning people. You're up with the birds. Some of you will handle conflict directly. Others of you shy away from conflict. So at our core, we're all different. Ignore all of the other dimensions. For those of you that have siblings, you and your sisters and brothers may be so different that sometimes you wonder, did we really come from the same parents? That's what we mean, that at the core, we all have similarities and differences. Never forget that when you start to layer on to people and integrate into people's identities all these different dimensions, because at our core, we are all human. At our core, I can find something in common with every single one of you. So next we talk about the internal dimensions of diversity. These are what I call the usual topics that people talk about. You know, we talk about the shrink wrap that I'm in. I'm in brown shrink wrap. That's race. We've got age, we've got gender, sexual orientation, mental physical ability, ethnicity. Many of these ones in the internal dimensions, these are people who are underrepresented in those groups. They're called protected classes, only because there are laws that have been passed to try to ensure some type of equity with respect to those different groups. But the external dimensions matter as well. So a person who is single, marital status, versus a person like me who's widowed, versus someone who's never married, that can make a big difference when you're looking at working in an organization, because depending on what the nature of the business is, what time your business hours are, that could really matter. I'm not going to go through all of these, but one of the things that I do want to share with you is the term called intersectionality. Intersection, like the intersection of things, intersectionality. If you look at me and you were to think about all these different dimensions with respect to race, I am Black. With respect to age, I'm in my mid-50s. With respect to gender, I'm female. With respect to parental status, I'm a parent. Marital status is a widow. Geographic location is huge. You may be able to tell from my diction, but I am not from the South. And so that very much has an impact on me when I engage with certain groups here. So think of people as being an amalgam of all these different types of identities. And you can't just look at someone and assume which of these identities is most important. So at the core, you've got to get to know the person, that person in the middle, and you'll start to find out how they experience all of these different things. So one thing I ask you is, which combination of dimensions are most relevant to your organization at this time? You know, I saw that there was a spa. You know, do certain genders more frequent that organization? Do you want to diversify the races or ethnicities of people that attend? Do you want to do something that has to do with parental status, maybe a mom's day out or something like that? So as you think about these different dimensions of diversity, think about who your existing clients and customers are, but who could be your clients and customers. And again, you have to intersect things. One of the interesting things that happened to me one time, I was at a job interview and I told the person that I was from Gary, Indiana. And they said, oh, you know, I so admire you. You know, you grew up in the hood and you've made such a good life for yourself. And I said, I didn't grow up in the hood. That was an example of a person. Do you see income here? They were mixing income and race, and they had some intuitive mixes that because I was Black and from an all Black city, that I must have struggled financially. Well, I never struggled financially. So again, you've got to go to the center and relate to people as they are, and you'll find out other things about other dimensions about them as you go on. One dimension of diversity I want to talk about is age, because if you're a small business, you're going to be attracting people from different ages. And so we have all of these age groups in the workplace right now. And it's really amazing, from the traditionalists who were born between 1940-45, the boomers who were born between 1946 and 1964. By the way, the Gen Zers have a habit of saying, okay, boomer. If they say that to you, my child said that to me and I told her she can't say that anymore. Gen X, which is my generation, millennial, and Gen 2020 or Gen Z. The important thing about this is that as we go from left to right, each one of these groups has become more and more comfortable with having a diversity of friends and neighbors and things like that. And going from left to right, each one of these generations has become more and more technologically savvy. And so when you think about your small business and you think about ways that you want to grow your business, ways you want to get your message out, using technology, using TikTok, using Snapchat, using Instagram. I was informed by my daughter, Facebook is for old folks, but I still love Facebook. And so if you like us old folks, older millennial and up, keep using Facebook. But your embrace of technology is very important. And this is where it also gets important to have people of diverse age groups employed in your organization, because they will know about these things. But I have a surprise for you. Coming to the marketplace soon is Generation Alpha. They are the first generation born entirely in this millennium. They're called the I generation. They're technology native. If you've ever seen a 6 or 8 month old or a year old work that iPad and work the computer, it's absolutely amazing. They're raised by millennials, and millennials have family and parenthood very, very important. And sometimes it's even above career and financial success. I'm a mom of a 32-year-old, and I don't know if I work too hard or what, but he has very high demands for what life should give him. And so they are raising Generation Alpha, and in a couple of years, they're going to be your customers. So keep diversifying in terms of age and the people that work in your store. So I want you to think for a second. Think about a time when you felt included in the marketplace, either in a store or during some type of communication with someone in a business. I'm gonna give you about 5 times to think about that. Think about a great time you had in a marketplace when you really felt included and like you belonged. And I want you to think about what makes this memory or this moment stand out. So back to my garden metaphor, I said that the soil is your organization, or it's the town of Mount Pleasant, or it's the Mount Pleasant Chamber. Pick your group. You, the leader, are the gardener. You're the one who plants into and plucks out. Sometimes we have to pluck a couple of plants out, but we pluck out of the garden. Also, you can infuse equality into the garden. You know, you'll have people paying the same price. You have certain hours for different people, or maybe you go more the equity route, because right now during COVID-19, some stores have a short time in the morning where those of us with the white hair can come in and shop with our masks and get less assaulted by the germs and whatnot. So inclusion is the fertilizer. And before I tell you the 8 ingredients that I found in this fertilizer, my co-author and I, Josie Lindsay, in 2014 published a book called Beyond Inclusion. And what we did, we asked almost 7,000 people the same question I asked you. We said, when was a time at your present job when you felt most included, like you most belonged? And we talked with people in a multinational financial organization, a multinational retailer, and a very large public university in somewhere USA. And we asked them these questions. And yes, I read almost 7,000 answers to that question. And along with other people, put them into 8 different buckets. And so I want to talk with you about what is this fertilizer with inclusion. And the reason I call inclusion the fertilizer in the garden is because you can have a garden without fertilizer and things will absolutely grow. But when you put fertilizer in, they're more resilient, they're sturdier, they're bigger, they bear more fruit. So the first dimension of this model is connection. And connection has to do with a person connecting to your business, connecting to your brand, seeing themselves in your brand, also feeling connected to the people in the store, feeling connected to their leaders, feeling connected to their coworkers. And one good way that people connect is through food and through fun. So if there are fun things you're doing, maybe a raffle or something like that, that'll be cool. Connection was also pretty relevant. Earlier, Mike Compton said his suggestion for marketing was to keep a consistent message and be connected with your message. The reason for that is that once people know what you do, they start to rely upon you to do it, and they feel connected to your brand. The next dimension is care. When we go into businesses, when we go into the marketplace to work, we don't cease to be human. Everyone wants to know that people care about who they are. If you're old enough, you think about the song to Cheers, you want to go where somebody knows my name. People want to be called by name. To the extent that you can remember some of your customers or clients' names when you see them on site, that goes such a long way to making them feel like you care about them, that they're just not another number. Intrapersonal inclusion. This has to do with all of the self-talk and the thoughts that you have about being included. For example, on your first day at work, do you feel like people are going to accept you, or do you feel like, I'm going to be the oldest person there, or I'm the youngest person there, or I'm the only this or that? What we think about inclusion and what we think about how included we're going to be manifests itself in our reactions with other people, and it can impact us. Have you ever gone into a meeting with a chip on your shoulder, and you just kind of sit in the back and you keep to yourself, and then you leave and nobody included you, and it was a self-fulfilling prophecy? So I'm not saying that just because you expect inclusion, you'll be included. Every now and then you'll meet a couple sociopaths and you just won't be included. But for the most part, if you can think positively about including others and about being included, it usually goes pretty well. The next dimension that Mike also talked about with marketing was communication. He said to share thought-provoking information with your clients and potential clients and customers, because as you give them information, you add value and they start to value that communication. So sure enough, communication was one of the dimensions that we saw in our research, and it had to do with people feeling a connection to the organization that they worked for. It had to do with them feeling communicating well with leaders. There was a safe space to communicate. There are people that they could talk with, that it was confidential when they needed it to be confidential, and that their organization communicated in various media that made sense to them. The next dimension is mentoring and coaching. And that was also kind of mentioned in what Mike Compton said. We could have just had him do this presentation, because one of the things he talked about was maybe we could have marketing tips for people. That's a version of mentoring and coaching. And this happens to be my favorite coach, Tony Dungy, because when you give people something, when you give them information they can use, or you give them a place where they can showcase themselves, they tend to feel included. Also, if you ask people to be a mentor, they tend to feel included. So if you have employees that you've had for a while and someone comes on new, asking someone to mentor that person really makes that person feel included. And that was a shocker that we didn't expect in the research, but it makes sense. If you're asking me to mentor someone else, that means you must trust me, you must think I'm competent. The next dimension is fairness. If people do not perceive that they're being treated fairly, they won't feel included. I'll tell you about a quick story. I was in a record store in Los Angeles in the Inland Empire. My late husband and I had gone in, I think it was about maybe the year 2003. We both picked out records. You know, he gave his ATM card. They rung up his transaction. I gave them my ATM card. They asked me for ID. So I'm right behind him. They asked me for ID because my card had my title on it. It had Dr. J. Goosby Smith. That was not a fair application of a policy, because either you ask people for IDs with credit card transactions or you don't. But what that was, it let me see some of the implicit bias that the cashier had going on in his or her head, unbeknownst to the person. So I would never go to that store again. And so sometimes not treating people fairly can really have an impact. That does have an impact on small businesses, because many times, if you're in the shrink wrap that I am in, people will follow you around the store. They'll be peering at you from different places. That doesn't make customers feel included either. So figure out some type of policy that's fair. Next is trust. If people or customers don't trust you, if your employees don't trust you, they don't feel included. So if I had to say which two to work on first, I would say fairness and trust, because they undergird just about all of our experiences. And trust has to do with doing what you say, being who you say you are. So back to what Mike Compton said about that consistent message, that consistent marketing message that you're putting out, your behavior and treatment of people in the store needs to be consistent with that message as well. So there's a lot of intentionality here. And then the final dimension is visibility and reward. When people work really hard, when they do a really good job, compliment them. So if someone stayed late to do inventory, or they transitioned everything to a new software, or made the brochures really well, let people know that they've done a good job. And if there's a way to celebrate them doing a good job with them, by all means do so. I would say, what's next? I would think of in what ways is your business inclusive? So when you think back to those dimensions, care, communication, look at what things you're doing well with your clients, with your customers, and with your vendors and suppliers. Also, is there something you're willing to do differently? What are you willing to do differently? The third one is, what is your value proposition? What is that special thing that makes me want to come into your business? One of the businesses that left Mount Pleasant Town Center was Tivana. It was my favorite place to shop in Mount Pleasant, Tivana, because they'd let you smell the tea, you could try the tea out, and I'm a tea person. In fact, I have a cup right here. I love tea. And so they were just so friendly. So what is your value proposition? There were other places I could have bought tea, but they were very special. Next, when you think about your value proposition, can you flex that a little bit to appeal to a more diverse group of customers? So for example, if you are a store that sells products or skincare products, a lot of people have eczema. Is there a way to have an eczema product? Or if you're selling particular types of hygiene things, is there a way to flex your value proposition so that you can bring in a more diverse group of customers and clients? And then finally, how, in terms of inclusion when they're in your store and diversity in what they see, how does your customer experience feel? Specifically, people who are not like you. You might even, if you have kids or grandkids, you might even just have their friends randomly come into a business and just give you an impression, because there are a lot of things that you just won't see. You need a diverse group of people to help you see things. And so I'll close out by reading a poem that I love by Maya Angelou. And it says, it's called The Human Family. She wrote, "I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious. Some thrive on comedy." That's probably me. "Some declare their lives are lived in true profundity, and others claim they really live the true reality. The variety of our skin colors can confuse, bemuse, delight. Brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and I've stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world. Not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe. And lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China. We weep in England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ. In major, we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. So thank you so much for your time, and I will turn it back to our facilitator, and I'll take the share off. So thank you so much for your attention.
Dr. Smith, thank you so much for your time and the information that you provided to us today. If folks would like more information about you and your services, how can they best find you? What's the best way to reach out to you and get in touch?
The easiest way to reach me is to email me, Dr. J. Goosby Smith @gmail.com. Or if you like really short emails, the letter J, the word Smith, 53 @citadel.edu.
Excellent. Well, we thank you again, Dr. Smith, very much for your time. This is a topic that is near and dear to the Chamber's heart and to my heart as we continue to work to be a more diverse and inclusive organization. And we thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here today, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, there are no questions, so we'll move on to the prize giveaways. Rebecca, are we ready to give away the prizes? Do you have the random number generator, the good old RNG, ready to fire it up and ready to go? We'll take that as a
No,
yes.
I do, Shane.
Okay, excellent. All right. So we'll start with the first one, which is a 1-hour massage courtesy of Elements Massage.
And the winning number is number 20, and that is Kathleen Herman with Mount Pleasant Town Center, who also serves on the Mount Pleasant Chamber Board. Congratulations, Kathleen.
Nice job, Kathy. You get a massage after taking all the notes for us in the board meeting. So well deserved. Congratulations. We'll do the Lowe's gift card, $50 gift card to Lowe's.
All right. Lucky number 13, and that is Richard Kilgler with For All the Tea in China. Dr. Smith, I noticed you mentioned you love tea. Well, Richard is a member of the chamber, and he is an expert in all things tea. So congratulations, Richard, on winning the Lowe's gift card.
Makes Dr. Smith very happy. A place to get more tea. Awesome. Awesome. Congratulations. Let's do the Moultrie News prize, 3 1/6 of a page, 3x7 color ads.
Okay. And that is number 3. And that is Andrew Bellabaum, Carolina Park Family Dentistry. Andrew and Carolina Park Family Dentistry are new members. Congratulations.
Oh, excellent. So these new ads in the Moultrie News will come in handy. We thank the Moultrie News, CC and Vicky and the team over there. We thank them for all of their support. They do a great job at covering us and getting our messages out. So we appreciate all the great things that the Moultrie News does for not only the community, but also for us, the Mount Pleasant Chamber. We'll go on to the Candy Vodka, a bottle courtesy of our president-elect, Eddie Phipps. And the winner is
Number 7. And that is Mark Mitchell of Dunes Properties. Congratulations, Mark.
excellent. All right, this is a 1-hour massage or facial courtesy of Massage Envy.
Okay. Number 14, and that belongs to another new member, Henderson and Henderson Law Firm, Katie Pelosia. Henderson and Henderson Law Firm. Congratulations, Katie.
Excellent. Yeah, John and Wesley over there, Henderson and Henderson, they do good work. Check them out. They're great young guys, and they run a solid firm for sure. Moving on to Zero Res. As I've said previously, I've used Zero Res since they've come into business, and they do great work. This one is for 3 rooms of carpet cleaned and sanitized, or $100 off of any service, and I highly recommend Emily and her team over at Zero Res. They clean them up nice.
And the lucky winner is number 27, our own Amanda Bunting-Coleman with ABC Social. Congratulations, Amanda.
Excellent. Well, thanks to all of the prize giveaway clients, members that gave away these prizes here today. We really appreciate it. I know our members do as well. So we have come to the end of our presentation here today. We thank you very much for your time. As always, we're going to wrap it up with a motivational poem, something I found online. This is called The Mighty Oak, and it's courtesy of Kathy J. Parenteau. Stand tall, O mighty oak, for all the world to see. Your strength and undying beauty forever amazes me. Though storm clouds hover above you, your branches span the sky. In search of the radiant sunlight you count on to survive. When the winds are high and restless and you lose a limb or two, it only makes you stronger. We could learn so much from you. Though generations have come and gone and brought about such change, quietly you've watched them all, yet still remain the same. I only pray God gives to me the strength he's given you to face each day with hope, whether skies are black or blue. Life on earth is truly a gift. Every moment we must treasure. It's the simplest things we take for granted that become our ultimate pleasures. Again, thank you very much for your time here today. We are looking forward to October and possibly doing an in-person small event. We will let you know more about that. But thank you very much for your membership into the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. We dearly appreciate it. Again, last reminder, EXPO Virtual starts on Monday, 9/21, 10 days of EXPO to celebrate 10 years. Head to mountpleasantexpo.com to register. It's free, and over $1,000 in prizes are available to you just for coming by and checking it out. So with that being said, remember to stay healthy, be safe, and keep moving forward. See you.